Okay, I want to talk about something else that is a pretty major change for the game. Uh, just because after doing a lot of testing and like weighing the different options, I realized that certain things just weren't going to work. So basically, the way that it's always worked is you had like X number of enemies that spawned per player. But the problem is like it just didn't work because even um, I mean, like, regardless of what you set it to, just because of the way it's scaled, it was just almost always too much. And so basically now the way it works is there's a base enemy count. So you can set basically like a base number of enemies, and that's what you'll get if you're just playing, by yourself. And then the other setting is you can say, how many extra enemies are we going to get, per player that we add. And so if it's a 10-player game and it's set this way, you'll basically end up, with 19 enemies. Because basically, like the way it was before, I mean, essentially, there was just no. I mean, like any 10-player game was just chaos. I mean, even like, 4-player games were already at the point where it was just chaos because, like, 40, enemies on the screen. It's just nuts. It just wasn't working. And so, I mean, you could still have an absurd number of enemies if you want to. Um, you could always, make it, like 10, and you'll pretty much, end up with something very similar to, the way it was before. But, but yeah, this is way more realistic. So yeah, so I'm just kind of trying to, starting to get, just really, hammer things down because I'm really trying to, just really kind of, nip this thing in the bud and just finish it. You can see here, some minor enhancements on the player select stage. There's more animations and different enemies. Abigail goes through his enrage animation. Rolento, raises his nose at you. It just kind of animates stuff a little bit more there. And also on the player select stage, I removed all the sound effects because it kind of got to the point where a bunch of them were making different noises and it was just too noisy, and I wanted to get rid of that. So that's there. Also, I have been like really kind of fine tuning gameplay things where um, like, so for example, Cody can actually cancel a lot of moves that he couldn't before. So now, like, if you do a strong attack, you can actually cancel a strong attack into an uppercut, things like that. And before you couldn't cancel, like the swing of a sword into an uppercut. You can do that now. So yeah, I've been really kind of tweaking all those things. The enemy behavior is still progressing where the enemies can jump attack you now. So sometimes they'll jump around and try to jump kick you, and other enemy behaviors are going in there. So that's shaping up. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. Just there's a lot of polishing and just really kind of just like I'm at the point where I really am like it isn't I'm really focusing on how am I actually going to finish this off, what's the final thing going to be, because basically things that seemed okay and were just kind of fun to play around with while it's still testing, obviously uh, weren't necessarily going to be things you wanted to stick with, for like the completed game. Oh, so there you go. So you see Jake did a jump kick. Yeah, and also like some enemy behavior stuff. They can kind of cycle between different types of attacks. So they can do combo attacks on you as well as just kind of like pokes. So yeah, that behavior is all in there. And it is interesting to, compared to the original game because so see in the original game there actually weren't that many enemies that could even jump attack you. Just because most of the enemies, couldn't even really jump, and so in a way, like this is all just kind of like reaping, the benefits of, the stuff that I've done to make all the players or all the characters playable, because essentially because I went through the effort to actually give all of them a full move set. Those are all just now tools that I can play around with when defining their enemy behavior. So that's all nice stuff. But yeah, it's hopefully, I can get this thing all taken care of this year, because there's already like another project that is kind of percolating in my mind, and I've already done kind of like a basic prototype. I'll probably be showing it off soon. It's actually pretty fucking awesome. But I'm really trying to just focus on finishing Final Fight, because I don't want Final Fight to get derailed here at the end when it's almost done. So so pretty soon I think like I'm gonna try to get as much of the enemy behavior in there as I can, and then I might actually start asking for feedback just in terms of you know um, how are things working out in terms of how it actually plays, and how it flows and everything, and actually start doing the balancing on you basically all the kind of like number balancing, like how much damage does an attack do, all that kind of stuff. Because basically a lot of that stuff has really been on the back burner, just because I've been focused more on just kind of getting like just the actual systems in and working, and not so much actually balancing what's there. But pretty soon it is going to be time to start thinking about that stuff. Um, yeah. And also like there have been like a lot of tweaks too, to just like just a lot of like gameplay stuff where um, whether things can be done by like holding down an attack button versus um, you know you actually like just pressing it. Things like that, like I'm kind of getting into the nitty gritty there, and really kind of defining all that stuff. Like there was a lot of polishing done to like Damned, in terms of how his moves played out too, because basically um, he also, you see how like you can interrupt out of a strong attack into his different role special moves. And so yeah, that's all like just tweaking. Oh yeah, you can see how like Abigail, like he has some behavior in there where he can enrage, and charge So yeah, it is kind of it is shaping. It's kind of at the point where I can really kind of see, like I can see, light at the end of the tunnel. Like I have a good sense of how, everything is gonna, shape up. So, so that's pretty exciting. There is a kind of like, like in the back of my head, there is a kind of like wistful, kind of what the hell is that? There is a kind of like wistful feeling where, like when you have a project that you've been working on for a long time. Ah, shit. I don't have a. Oh yeah, I don't have an escape animation for Abigail. I need to add that. Yeah, because basically that's one of the enemy behaviors. When they get low in health, there's a chance for them to get scared and run away from you. So yeah, although for Matagiel, I'll probably end up just having him like turn back into Abigail if that happens. But but yeah, like I was saying though, there is a sort of sense of, like after you've been working on like a big project for a long time, you almost kind of like don't want it to end. It's kind of like a weird mixture of emotions where, on the one hand, you don't want it to end, but on the other hand, you want to move on, to the next thing. Yeah, so it is it's kind of a weird, mixture of emotions there. But because the thing about it is, it's like, when you really say, okay, this is what it's going to be, I'm not going to add anything to it anymore. Basically you're just saying like, well, that's it. This is all this thing can ever be. All of the, the possibilities and the, the imagination and, like the dreams that I had about it. Basically all that stuff is just, it's no longer just, an open field of things that can happen. It's like nope, you're choosing, like, this is it. It's a dead end now. This is what it's going to be. So there's something about that's kind of a little sad, but like I said, you gotta finish stuff. One of the worst things, and one of the things that just like so many people just get wrong, that do things like this, is like, it's basically they don't finish. They don't wrap it up. I mean, look at how many of these things just kind of, start and then just kind of go nowhere, or they get like half done and then that's it. So yeah, so it's very important to just, at some point, you gotta let it go, and then just decide, it is what it is. Yeah.